Welcome to a little quick lesson here on relative versus absolute cell addressing in Excel when using formulas in conjunction with the autofill tools or features. So to start with, I'm going to just click into cell B12 here, and I need to calculate how much each city has amassed over the month of January. So I'm going to do that by just typing in my formula. Every formula begins with equal, and as I begin to type in my functions, you'll see this drop down up here showing me the list of functions. And when the one that I want is highlighted, I can just simply tap the Tab key on my keyboard to enter that function and also put in the open paren. So now I'm going to go ahead and select the cells that I wish to add up here. Now I want you to notice that there is a full colon here between the B4 and the B10. That means through. If there were a comma, that would be an and. So in this case, I'm done. I've got this. I want to add up B4 through B10. And I'm going to use the shortcut here of Control Enter. That's going to apply my formula to my cell and keep the same cell selected. Now I can use my autofill, which is the lower right corner of the active cell, and when you come over that, you'll notice that you get a thin black plus. And it's going to populate all those other cells with your values. Now to understand how this happened, we have to go ahead and see the formulas. So here's a little trick. If we come up to the Formulas tab, and look in the Formula Auditing group, you'll see that there is a Show Formulas button. Now this is a great little tool, but it would be more convenient if I had it also on my Quick Access toolbar so I didn't have to switch tabs in the ribbon. So I'm going to simply right-click on this button. I'm going to choose Add to Quick Access Toolbar. That will now put it up here above. I can click on this to show me all of the formulas instead of the values in my spreadsheet. Now, as you can see, the relative addresses of B4 through B10 have adapted as I went from column to column. So B4 became C4, became D4, E4, F4, and so on and so on. Depending on the column that I'm in, the formula adapted with the use of the autofill. To hide these, I'm going to simply click that Show Formulas again and see the values. Another way that I am able to quickly add a lot of formulas to a lot of cells is to simply select the cells that I need the formulas in, either on the Home tab or on the Formulas tab, clicking the Auto Sum button. So here again, I would like to see these formulas, and I'm going to click the Show Formula button. I'm going to slide over so that we can see these. And you can see here again that all of those cell addresses are relative, and this time I'm getting it row by row by row instead of by columns, because that is the direction that we're moving. Going to hide the formulas again. Now we're going to calculate how much taxes we owe on this monthly subtotal. The cell that contains the taxes is up here in M1, so I need to basically simply multiply the value in B12 by the value in M1. So I'm going to click into that cell B13, equal, click on cell B12, multiply that by the value in cell M1. I'm going to use my Control Enter to apply that formula, and now I'm going to use the autofill and drag that across. This time though, I'm not getting any values. So let's look at the formula to determine why. Since both of these cell addresses, B12 and M1, are in fact relative addresses, when we use the autofill, we ended up with C12, which is perfectly fine, and D12 and E12. But M1 became N1, became O1 and P1, and that is not what we need because N, O, P1, they're all empty. There are no values, so that's why our formula is failing. I'm going to click the Show Formulas button again to hide everything. I'm going to double click in cell B13 to open up and examine my formula. I need to put a $sign in front of the column and row of this cell address. A shortcut to do this quickly is to use the F4 key, your function keys at the top of your keyboard, which will convert a relative address into an absolute. I'm going to apply my formula with the Control-Enter keys. Now I can use the autofill handle again and pull this across, and this time I'm going to get my values. Looking at the formulas again by clicking the Show Formula button, we can see that B12 relative address has adapted to C, D, E, and so on, while M1, the absolute address, is M1 is M1 is M1 is M1, and it will always refer to this specific cell. It is an absolute reference. Now I'm going to hide my formulas, and at this point I just need to quickly do another relative plus relative cell address formula. The value in cell B12 plus the value in cell B13. Control Enter to apply my function or my formula, and use the autofill to run across. Here again, since this is relative to each column, there was no need to make one of those cell addresses absolute. We could work with them as both being relative.